everybody? Isaac here with Civil Engineering Academy, jumping on with another fun podcast episode. I got my daughter here with me today, but just wanted to introduce our next podcast episode. I jump on with my brother Mark, and we talk about a relatively new engineering degree. And this is my daughter Abigail. She's going to be the new degree is called a construction engineer degree. And a lot of people are very familiar with construction management, but construction engineering is relatively new. And Mark had the opportunity to sit on an advisory board at the University of Utah to help form that degree at the University of Utah. So I wanted to bring him on, talk about his experience, and probably introduce to people what this degree is as we talk about it. What you got there, Abigail? Abigail's showing everyone an old tape. Why do I have that? Anyway, I just wanted to introduce this degree to you, talk about this degree. It might be an option for you in your future. I think it's an exciting opportunity, and there's a huge need for construction engineers to help. So definitely check it out. We're going to talk all about it. It's coming right up. Can you say it's coming right up?
Nope.
See you in a few. All right. What is going on, Mark? How's life?
Life's good. Thanks for bringing me on again.
Oh, all the time, man. You're regular.
Hello.
You're my regular.
I know, this is good stuff.
Good to get your feedback. So today we're talking about the construction engineering degree. Relatively new in the collegiate arena, and it's something that sounds like it was much needed in the world of construction. And you have been a part of this, developing some of these things. So I wanted to pick your brain about this because I think it's an interesting topic, and it's an interesting degree that probably a lot of guys or gals in civil engineering maybe want to head towards as they are considering the construction arena. So,
yeah. So it's kind of a cool, I'll say a facet, a discipline within the civil engineering curriculum that's starting to be offered by more and more universities, this construction engineering degree. And it's kind of cool because it fills some gaps.
So let's kick it off with that, Mark. What is the construction engineering degree? How did this even start up?
So what happened is, local universities were looking at their construction market, and they found out that many of their graduates that were graduating in traditional civil engineering degrees were moving into the construction industry. And so when they got into the construction industry, they weren't operating as maybe a traditional design engineer that you would think of as working in a typical civil engineering firm or maybe a structural engineering firm. They were working for structural companies, maybe general contractors, in construction, we usually divide things into horizontal construction, which is your roads and your transportation type projects. And then there's vertical construction, which is, your buildings and your hotels and your typical buildings that go vertically, that go up. That's a good way to put it. So a lot of these graduates were going and working in either of those two industries for general contractors, and kind of moving into more of a project engineer. And then a project manager type role. And a lot of these general contractors found out that their PMs, their project managers that had engineering degrees, engineering backgrounds, were doing quite well. There was some things that they had to learn that maybe they didn't, get during the course of their university curriculum. Maybe some of the scheduling type classes, maybe some of the hard project management type classes but they were picking those things up, and then their engineering background kind of gave them a more appreciation for the construction process and the engineering that goes into the actual construction process. And so universities kind of picked up on that, and they're trying to fill that need um, with an engineering construction engineering degree. So it's kind of cool.
So it's not a degree that's found in every university. It sounds like it's relatively new. So there, I think in our own research, there's something about 30 probably universities that are offering something like this. And you happen to be on an industry advisory board for the University of Utah to help
Yeah.
develop this thing. So how and why were you on that board? How did you get on that board? Why were you on that board? How'd that work out?
The company that I work for, actually, my boss is the one that was technically was invited.
Your name?
Yeah, he threw my name in the mix and got me involved. Not against my will or my better judgment. I don't mind being involved with these kind of things, but he is also a graduate of the University of Utah, and he was actually one of the people in the industry that was asking the University of Utah to develop a degree like this.
Gotcha.
And so he got called in as kind of one of the individuals on the advisory board, and then kind of as a natural course of things, and your boss tells you you need to do something, you do it. And so he wanted me to get involved as well. And so I kind of got drawn into it that way.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So what did you do as part of that advisory board? How did you help that degree form?
So we sat down with the chair of the civil and environmental engineering department at the University of Utah, and just help them review their course curriculum and make sure that it was tailored, or made sure that it had offerings that were real world, that would offer, I guess, real world
Like application?
Yeah, application and opportunity to learn real world construction scenarios. So one of the big things, just to make things clear, ABET, right, who's the accrediting agency for most engineering programs at university, they set the core curriculum, right? So this degree still has all of your calculus courses, all of your probability and statistics, your statics, your dynamics, those base core engineering courses still have to be covered. But then once you get up into your upper division courses, and you can start directing your coursework towards some of the electives, some of the technical electives, right? That's when they start steering you into more construction related type
Gotcha.
coursework. Yeah. And so in the board that I was involved with, we helped steer that elective level, that upper level coursework that kind of put the topping on the cake, so to speak.
I gotcha.
Kind of the capstone kind of coursework that got them to finish out. So senior project type courses, cost and estimation, proposal writing, project management, those types of courses we were able to get them steered in the right direction on. So
Gotcha. So from everything I'm hearing, there's a big difference between a construction manager and this new construction engineering degree. Couldn't an engineer simply slip into this role, or I guess as a civil engineer, would an engineer going through this program, let's say, was in civil engineering, do they? I mean, I don't want to make this sound bad, but do they feel like this is kind of a watered down engineering degree that's going to get them in the industry, or like what's the difference between someone that might bust their butt to go through an engineering degree and then getting this construction engineering degree? Because it still sounds like it's very heavy into the engineering coursework
It
It's
is.
your technical electives that kind of change, that
Yes.
gear more towards the management side of
This is
things.
still a traditional engineering degree. I mean, the base coursework is still, like I said, is still ABET accredited. So, I mean, all of the base courses that everybody had to take to get through their civil engineering um, degree it's all still there. It's
Gotcha.
just when you got into those upper division courses, and most people got to elect, either they were going to go through the transportation engineering route, they were going to go through
Structural or more
structural,
geotech or more
geotech,
water.
water, right? Environmental engineering. That was going to be their course of emphasis, right? Once they got up into those upper division courses. The only thing that's really the main difference is that when they make that turn, they make that election, they have a construction engineering emphasis that they can make when they take that direction.
Gotcha.
So, yeah.
Um, okay. That's good to know, man. What kind of person do you envision seeing on the job with this type of degree? And what can they offer in the workplace? What's the benefit now of calling this a construction engineering degree?
So the big benefit, the way it serves the construction industry, is that there are a lot of, I'll call them systems that have to be designed by a general contractor these days that require engineering and expertise, right? So the big things that I typically deal with are earth retention systems, so soldier pile and lagging, or soil nail walls, or sheet um, you know,
What about shoring decisions?
yeah, well, that's the other thing that I get into as well. But there's earth retention systems that get designed internally. There's soil improvement systems, stone columns, geopiers that get designed. These are all what usually are termed as deferred submittals. They're things that aren't the responsibility of the EOR, the engineer of record, for a project necessarily, but the general contractor has to pick those items up, and they have to be engineered and submitted for review. But they require a professional engineer to develop not only the design, but obviously, stamp the design, and before it's even submitted for review by the engineer of record.
Hmm.
And as you mentioned, you get into multi-level building construction. If it's structural concrete, there's a lot of forming and shoring, reshoring, backshoring. It gets to be pretty technical design. I get involved in a lot of that. There's those elements in construction that are the responsibility of a general contractor that require engineering. And so someone with construction engineering degree is just, I mean, they're going to be like well suited for attacking all of those things, and being a valuable employee of a general contractor. So
Hmm.
you're not, and there's specialty subcontractors that would require this type of degree. Um, any your geotechnical specialty subcontractors. Man, there's a lot of individuals that are engineers that work for these companies where a construction engineering degree would serve them very well.
That makes sense. Do you have a time in your mind where maybe you have dealt with a manager that you wish was an engineer, wish you had an engineering background to help solve some problems? Is there a time where there's obviously a need for this? Why was the need called out? Like, has there been a time in your experience that you've butted up against this?
Yeah, when I butt up against an issue with this, it's I'll have maybe a project manager that I'm working for, and he might be our customer. It might be that I'm acting as a subcontractor to a general contractor. Maybe that general contractor's project manager doesn't have an engineering background, and maybe I'm trying to present to him, because what happens is we have to sequence all of our pours and logistically make sure that everything's scheduled and that our formwork systems and our shoring is going to cycle properly. And then we always, do a reshore and sometimes even a backshore design. And when the PM doesn't have an engineering background, he can't appreciate what we have to do logistically to build the building, when he's worried about maybe trying to come up after we've completed floors. He's trying to come up and maybe get his mechanical trades in, maybe get all of his HVAC and those kind of things going, while I've got reshores and stuff that are in his way. And so it's impacting his schedule negatively. And so he doesn't necessarily have the appreciation for the engineering, right? That's involved with keeping the building standing during construction. He's more maybe focused towards, the schedule and trying to get, the finished trades moving up through the floors before I'm done, and it's not as well understood. And maybe there's a little bit of frustration that gets, built up, because
Sure.
he just wants to get the job done as fast as possible. And I've got some constraints based on my engineering that I've got to deal with. And it would be easier for him to understand those things if he had maybe a little more of a construction engineering background or
Makes
degree.
sense.
That's just an
So
example.
you probably answered this already then, but with this new degree, it sounds like if it's ABET accredited, it seems like it falls kind of within the civil engineering kind of umbrella. But one of the things I wanted to ask about is like, is the FE still required? And it sounds like the PE is still going to be required because you want
Yes.
somebody that has that qualification. So
Yes. So this whole curriculum is geared towards that, right? So the FE is a requirement, at least at the University of Utah, for graduation. And then it is still steering the student towards ultimately getting their PE license. That professional credential is still what they're pointing everybody towards.
gotcha.
And so that hasn't changed. Yeah.
Okay, well, that's good to know, because I'm sure people that might be going through this or wanting to get this degree, that's popping up in their head. So I think anything tied with engineering, it's a good idea to get that FE, get that PE going. We obviously have some good resources at civilengineeringacademy.com. So if you need help with that, go check it out.
Absolutely. So
Um,
yeah, I mean, you may have noticed as well that what would you say, Isaac, over the last, I don't know how many years, the actual construction engineering section of the PE test, right,
oh,
has
it's grown.
it's grown.
It used to be nothing, and now it's grown into a huge chunk of the exam. So, and those exams are developed from advice from the industry and finding out what's needed and wanted out there in the world. So, um, it's obvious that through the PE exam, you can see that there's a big emphasis on construction as either a degree or a subject of emphasis for engineers to know in
Yeah.
general. And so many people take that as their depth exam, that deal with construction at any level. I know, from hearing with dealing with a lot of students and hearing from others, that many people that take that construction depth exam are usually surprised at how difficult it is, because they can test you on a wide range of subjects. And sometimes they get slapped in the face a little bit, not being well prepared. So, yeah, my thoughts are that it is a growing industry. It must be a needed industry. A lot of people take that exam, and so it's definitely something I see. But I guess this new degree falls in line with that. I don't see an issue with a person that wants to be a civil engineer that can fall into this same kind of industry too, because there's a lot of crossover in engineering, and we've talked about this in previous episodes, but you can go into a lot of different areas as a civil engineer, and different routes that get you to a pathway that you enjoy and you like doing. So this sounds like it's an opportunity for a degree to kind of match that what people are wanting, and what the
Yeah.
industry is wanting
It's
too.
almost like the industry created this need. The NCES like recognized that. They created a separate kind of discipline, right? For the
Hmm.
PE test. And now it's almost like universities are recognizing that finally and then trying to tailor their curriculum to be more construction emphasis.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So
Well, is there any resources for people that might be interested in learning about this? Is it just a simple Google search? I guess they could check out the U of U's program, but
yeah,
anything
U
else
has
out
a
there?
program. There's lots of programs across the country. If you do a simple Google search, I've looked and seen U.S. World uh, Report, who usually ranks all of the university programs. They have some information there. It's um, it's not comprehensive, but my
Do
last
they rank colleges? Is that kind of what you're saying,
yeah
or that they have a degree?
they rank colleges, but they also let who offers what degree, um, and so my research has shown that I mean there's probably 30 to 33 universities around the country that offer this emphasis, this degree, and so I got to believe it's a growing trend. I bet there'll be more and more universities offering this, and like I said, it's not a huge deviation from a typical civil engineering degree. It's just if somebody knows that I want to get a degree in civil engineering, but man, I really want to go into construction. There's there's a program that's really tailored now for those individuals. It's nice. So
And it's a huge need. I mean, I know there's a ton of jobs out there right now, but yeah, I think there's a big need for it, which is a good thing. So
yeah.
definitely check it out if you want a degree in this construction engineering degree. Check out the U of U's, or do a little bit of homework and find out if there's a degree around that you can go join a university and study that program. But relatively new degree. Just wanted to talk about it. Mark's been on the board, so it's fun to talk about. Here's some developments. Mark, what do you know what kind of electives that they're talking about adding at all to the program, or that you could
Yeah.
select? Is it like facade stuff? Like, what are we dealing with there
Yeah,
for
so
electives?
if you get into like your senior year, right? You're
Mhm.
coming to the end. You're usually into your concrete design, your steel design. You still have those basic courses required. There's a design capstone course, right, which is like your senior
Senior project.
project. Yeah, but that one is usually geared towards more of a construction type project. So you might be given for your for your senior project, you might be given like an existing project that's already been built. In fact, in our industry board, we made that suggestion is go out and grab an existing project that's already been built, that's already been figured out logistically, and all the construction engineering has been done, but just use that as kind of a template and then just give your students the parameters of that project and see how well they compare to what was actually executed in the field, what was
Hmm.
actually done in the industry, and that be kind of your template, your gauge against how well they do. And so that's something that
Good idea.
yeah, that they're going to do senior design project. But you get into they define what vertical construction is. There's a course on vertical construction, which is the buildings going up, right? And then horizontal construction, which are more your transportation projects. Your technical electives, you can have cost estimation and proposal writing. You can get into one of their other electives is engineering law and contracts. That's something we deal a lot with as project managers. Project management and contract administration's another course. You can get into introduction to foundations, intensive materials and construction. So it's just material science with maybe more of a construction emphasis. Highway design. So,
okay. Yeah. Well, good to know. I think people want to know what those electives might be as they head towards that route. But in general, it's mainly engineering, and then kind of the tail end, you get to pick that kind of stuff. So that's good stuff, man. I like it.
Yeah, it's cool.
Well, Mark, anything else about this degree? Anything else on your mind that we could share before we wrap it up?
No, it's just kind of cool because this is the path of my career has taken. And it's just cool to see that the industry has been able to get universities to recognize that need and tailor a program to meet the needs of, quite frankly, people like me that, they went through the traditional civil engineering curriculum, but ended up working in construction. This really gets things kind of focused in that direction for people so that, I don't know. They're more prepared. They're more prepared if that's the direction they want to take. So it's cool.
Here comes my daughter, future construction engineer.
Yeah.
All right, man. Okay, we'll go ahead and wrap it up. Thanks, Mark, for joining us on another fun episode, and we'll see you in the next one.
Okay, we'll see ya.
Abigail, you got anything to say?
Nope.
Say bye.
Bye, Abigail.
All right. See ya.
See ya.